So, if you were just watching the car booty video, you'll see that we got a couple of computers, which neither of them are working at the moment. We got this laptop power supply for €1.50, which I thought was worth that just for the lead. And we got this Voodoo V. Yeah, but it can't be a Voodoo 5. But it's 3DFX, so it's got to be worth something. These are the motherboards that we have in the two computers which don't work. This is the power supply. So I think things we'll just have a quick look. Let's have this power supply, see if it actually works or not. I've no idea. I'll put the light bulb back on. Just make sure it's the right way around. I don't want this thing getting bang. That'd be quite embarrassing, wouldn't it? Yeah. Be good when I get another camera to be able to see this stuff better, guys. For now, we have to live with what we've got. Yeah, so let's plug this thing in. See if it does anything. Well, the light bulb flicked and went off. That's a very good sign. Switch it to direct mains. The light bulb flicked on once and went off. That normally is a sign of a good power supply. Always charging the capacitors and it's dead. It's one or the other. There's power gone into it. So let's stick this on. Let's just stick the test meter where you can see it. Let's stick this in here and see. Let's see if anything coming out of this. 19. Well, unless it fails under load, which you'd have to try. Let's say that changed. That's just me. I think I have a bad connection. That looks like we've got a good laptop power supply there for €1.50. Yeah, it just needs all this shit cleaning off it, but we can do that. That's got to be worth like a tenner or something once I've cleaned it up for somebody to fix the laptop, I'm sure. So we'll call that a profit, yeah. We'll call that easy profit. Now let's have a look at these motherboards, see what we've got here. Obviously we need to look at them, but I'm interested to see what we've actually got. Let's go over in here, let's have a look. I normally go to eBay. eBay's the easiest place first to have a look at this lot. eBay. I normally go to the English one. I can read the Spanish one, but this is where I normally go to. So what do we have? We had a GA-H55M-S2V. This is the i3 or something. I think it's an early generation i3. Oh, sure. 3 watches, free postage. Well, I've certainly got me €20 worth. Just for the board, if I can get it working. Okay, that's not going to make it a fortune, but I'd say I've got those money's worth. These are obviously listings. If we go to advanced, let's have a look, see if any of these have actually sold. This is a better indication rather than what people are asking for them. Is have they sold any? Yeah, that one sold up about 4 weeks ago. About 3 weeks before that. Yeah, that's a profit if we can get it to work. Let's have a look at the other one. The other one was, in fact, no, let's just check that. I'm interested in what sort of processor should be in that. So it's GA-H55M-S2V CPU support. That'll do. So let's see what goes in that board. Socket 1156. I think that's an early revision. i3. It says i3 on the front of the machine. I'm guessing it's an i3. Doesn't tell us a great deal here. Oh, yeah. It's like the i5661, such and such. I think this is the early, the first revision. PC specs that help as user base. Some of these sites will actually give you a list of all the processors that fit into it. Yeah, i3 540, i3 550, So it's likely to be one of them CPUs, and we'll have it when we get apart. Okay, so the other one, G31M, and I think this is an LG. I'm used to 775. Asrock motherboard, Celeron. Well, I paid €5 for this. Remember the whole machine. One moment. Okay, somebody wanted me again. Yeah, so the Asrock one, and obviously worth more than €5. And I'm mentioned processor. Yeah, oh yeah, dual core. This is a 775 board, I thought it was. We need to have a look at what CPU's on ours, but yeah, for £5, that's gotta be. There's got to be profit in that one. Right, what's this Voodoo V? Voodoo V. What's that? I didn't tell what did this. 3DFX. Voodoo 3. No. Voodoo 2. It hasn't found it, has it? It's 4 results with 3DX Voodoo V. There's a Voodoo 2. V3, that's probably why. There's a Voodoo 3, but it didn't look like that. Diamond Monster Fusion 3DFX Banshee. No, it ain't that one. I'll tell you why, because mine's got two slots in the AGP. Worth some money, these things, aren't they? Bloody hell. It's got another number on it, CV350. CV350, what's that? No, stamps. So 3DFX, yeah. No. That's a strange thing. Google's not, sorry, eBay's not finding that. Let's try Google. CV, no, sorry, Voodoo V. It was put for 3DFX Voodoo V. Voodoo 5. I know this is not a Voodoo 5. I'm telling you this is not a Voodoo 5, and that's because the Voodoo 5 doesn't look like that. Oh, somebody repair €1,000. Oh, good luck to you, mate. Voodoo. What the hell have I got? What the hell? CV. Oh, just try that. CV350. No. 3DFX. Ah. Now we have something. 3DFX. Oh yeah, 32M, and mine says version 1 32M on it. That's what I've got. What is it? It's a Voodoo VGA component video PCI card. Doesn't tell me all. That's what it is. Voodoo 4 4500 CV350. That's one. Oh! Looking for 3DFX Power Color Evil King 4 CV350. Still looking. Still looking for. This site, AmiBay, this is like where people buy and sell used and rare retro computer trading posts. Somebody's after one of them. That's sought after. Vogons, this is a good site. There's one. That's my card. It's a Voodoo 445. Bloody hell it is. Notch for both 1.5. I told you it's got 2 notches in the thing. talking about it. Power Color V4. It seems to be called an Evil King, but it's a Voodoo 450. It's a Voodoo 4500. What's that worth? Sure, that should be worth something. Let's go into eBay. Voodoo 4500. What the? No way. No way. Oh, that's a new one. They say new old stock. No way. Well, they ain't. They're bloody rare. That's for sure. I don't know. Sold. And it's sold. Different from mine. These are sold. See, that's just a poster. That's sold 131. That one's boxed 142. That one was boxed 345. That's different from mine. That looks like mine. 140. Okay, we've got a decently valuable graphics card there, if it's working, or if we can get it working. That's that one. Ah, interesting. Okay, guys, I think it's probably time we try to fix some stuff then. I think first one of all, we have to put this Voodoo 4 in the computer, see if it actually works. That we've got to look at that for sure. That's interesting. Okay, guys, I'll get the test rig out and let's have a look at the thing, that graphics card, and which seems to be rather valuable bit of kit. I like that. Okay, guys, see you in a minute or three when I've got a test rig, and let's see if we get this thing. If it works, who knows? Okay, so this is an old socket 478 P4 motherboard that came from the cartridge sale again. It works. Somebody this came out of a case that somebody actually tried to spray the PC case silver. It was a black or a beige, I don't remember. And they obviously did that with the motherboard in, and it's covered in paint. But it works. Can't sell it. It's covered in paint, but it works. So I'll keep this for testing, well, P4 processors obviously. But it's got AGP on, so this is quite a nice machine for testing AGP graphics cards. This has got the 20-way connector, so I have this old PSU. This is not the Asus one I normally use, but this has the right connectors on for IDE, because this has got IDE. So it's an IDE hard drive, and it's got the 20-way, which is what you want there. It's got a 4-way, which you want up here. Not very long, unfortunately, the leads on this power supply, but it's long enough, yeah. So we test that. Get that out of the way a bit. I tend to just balance. This is an old fan, and anyway, the plastic retaining clips are broke on this, so I can't even fit a proper fan. But this came, I think it's off a P4 anyway, so we can just rest that on top of the CPU. It's not fitting, that's it. It's there now, so we can rest that on the CPU. I'm not sure which CPU this is. It's not a fast one. I tend to get the cheapest stuff around available for test purposes. This is just an old AGP graphics card, but we'll just stick that in first to make sure that the thing's working, and then we'll try our Voodoo. Voodoo 4. That's a surprise. I've had some valuable GPUs from down this market. I had a GeForce 3D, it was a creative 3D blaster 256, which is effectively the original GeForce GPU. That sold for about £90, something like that, and I paid like €1 or two, and it worked. I had a Hercules something or other. I can't remember what that was. It was a blue one. That was Hercules, and that fetched about £70. It looks like this Voodoo's worth more than either of those two. So that's a bonus. Okay, so we've got all that plugged in. What we need now is power and connect the monitor. So course, before hitting record, I should have got myself a power lead. That would have been a forward thinking, wouldn't it? A bit of forward planning. This thing's got DVI. So let's just fire it up and see if it works. The hard drive, I'm just going to disconnect for now. The hard drive's got XP on, and it will boot on this board. One moment, I'll just get this off power lead. Okay. So let's see what we have. So power. We know this is a known good. Headphone lead stuck behind some boxy thing. I'm trapped myself by my own headphone cable. There we go, microphone cable. Sorry. We don't need to put this onto the current limit because we know this is a good power supply anyway. So let's see. What else do we want? Post test card. That's always useful to have. And last thing is to turn the board on and off. I have somewhere, if I can find it, I have a little oh, I know where it is. It's not in that tray. It lives in the same one as the post test card. Let's have a look in this tray. Yeah, it's just a switch wired to a little plug header, and we can just use this to power it on. I know we can just short the thing out with a screwdriver, but you know, how long is it going to take you to make one of that? Yeah, how long does that take? Okay, so this is with its own graphics card, and this should be working. It's booting up. See if we actually get it. Oh yeah, I've got a picture on the screen. Yeah, it's booting. It's an Asus P4S533, the motherboard. So we're good. The board's working. Now's the moment of truth, isn't it? Now's the moment of truth. I can see this has got a broken fan, but for the amount of time I'm going to power this up for, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I just want to see if it works. What do you think? What do you think, guys? I think it's about 60-40 in our favour, actually, from what I've had off these guys before. Switch her on. Power up. Machine's booting. We're at a look here. This has got something wrong with it. It's not booting up. It's not getting hot. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? I was hoping that was going to work. Okay, all's not lost. We can. Nothing's getting hot on it. We can look at that. Okay. Doesn't want to boot up. It's stuck on 41 on here. I'm interested to see what that is. Didn't we have 41 before? Wasn't it where it was trying to boot the card and it can't? So like 41. Old book here. So what 41 is. 41. No, there's no code for that. Not for an AMI BIOS. If this is an AMI BIOS, I'm not sure which BIOS this actually is. I think it was AMI. The ward would say. Why is that camera flashing like that? Aye. Strange. The ward BIOS initializing floppy drive controller in any drives, and Phoenix is something else. Initialize extended memory from ROM pilot. Okay, so unfortunately our Voodoo V, Voodoo 44500 doesn't seem to work. But yeah, that's got to be worth trying to fix that. Okay guys, I think we'll have a look at those other motherboards, and I'll ask 1 or 2 people about this, and then we'll have a look at this as well. Looks a fairly simple thing. Right, see you soon. Well, I thought it was about time we looked at some motherboards on the channel, since that's what I promised to start off with. This is the first one from the car boot sale this weekend. This is the i3 of some sort, early generation i3 H55 chipset Gigabyte GA-H55M-S2V motherboard. I've just checked because I just made sure that all the slots were clean. We've got 2 sticks of 2 gigabytes each, so 4 gigabytes of DDR3 in there. Processor I'm guessing is under here. I haven't even looked, but I would have to assume there's a processor. Yeah, there's a processor on it. I've seen that before, no processor. When you get stuff from the second-hand market, that usually happens when the case says it's like an i7 or something that sounds interesting, and you look and see the fan inside. I always check now, make sure there's a CPU underneath it. Okay, so power off the trusty Asus power supply that I use for most repair jobs. I've made sure that all the bits of crap are off the desk from the last job. I do like these. I wonder if they like that, or somebody's just done that with them. I like them. They've got worth a couple of euros to start off with. Then we're going to end up on one of my computers, I'm sure, once I've cleaned them. Yeah, so there it is. I think the first thing we need to do, we did power this up before. I think it spun up and made a noise or something like that. No picture. Let's have the post analyzer card in the PCI slot. Board's got DVI and VDA, so let's use the DVI. Let's just fire this up and see what it actually does now. There we are, that's on there. Okay, what my little switch I use for powering them on and off. Is there a speaker on this one? Don't see one on board, so let's put our yeah, I don't see where was the sound coming from then, but there must have been a speaker in the ATX case I've just took it out of course. Let's power there, so we power switch. So okay, we have everything we need there. Fan spins, plugged in. We know this power supply is good, so we just plug the thing straight in, and let's see what this does now. Let's see if we can figure out why. I've cleaned the dust off this. I've just used a little paintbrush and just wiped all the dust off, but I haven't done anything else with it. Put some power into it, switched on, switch my power on, and it's switched on. It doesn't bleep anymore. I saw the postcard wizard, I'm going 0, oh, it's counting up. Don't set it on the monitor. Maybe the other one was making the bleeping noise. Oh no, we're on bleep. Set this my monitor to DVI. Saying FF on here, that's good. Do we have anything on screen? Ah, okay. Can you see this? Not that monitor. This one, yeah. Loading operations. Okay, so it's just saying there's no hard drive. So for whatever reason, now I've taken that out of the case, it seems to boot up. I'll just show you what the post analyzer cards do on these, by the way, on a good board. If you can see that, can you read the numbers? Let me turn the lamp off on the. Is that better? So we'll switch it off again and give you an idea of what these post analyzer cards do. Blip. Got a picture on the screen. Okay, well that's possibly a good one actually. This could be a very short video. I mean, what I'll do with this now would be to take the let's see what processor we got on this. I'm going to take the fan off and just have a look to make sure that the heatsink compound is in a good condition, yeah. And then, well, here's what we'll see what sort of CPU we have, and then basically with this I would attach a hard drive. I have a USB with Windows 10 on, and I just install Windows 10, and if it installs Windows 10 all the way up and loads all the drivers, then we can say it's good. That's dry as hell. This was probably overheating. Look at the mess under there. Okay, that's a good enough reason for the thing. Somebody to think it was faulty. Let's get all this dust and shit off this, eh? Well, it's not hot now, but then again, I was only just powering this up. I wasn't, you know, doing anything really with it. But I'm quite confident that this is. Look, it won't even come off on my finger. Yeah, not about. It's getting grey, but the stuff's not coming off. That's a good enough reason for that not to have been working, to be honest. Let's give that a clean. Okay. Looks like first motherboard repair is a good one. It's fun. I hope you guys enjoy this channel as much as I enjoy making them. I really do. What do you know is I go and buy stuff from the car boot sale, so I can show you how to fix stuff, and it works. Give him 20 euros for this, though, so you know, it's nice to have it working. What's so dry? Doesn't even want to come off. I mean, there may still even be a fault on this, you know, until I've actually at least loaded an operating system on it. I can't say. Okay, CPU is it's an i3 as we knew. What's in the front of the case? i3 3.06 gigahertz, i3 540. So that's an early generation i3. Still, you know, it's a reasonable little processor. I have another one. That's a 530. That's my test one, the 530. So this is a 540. I don't suppose it's worth anything much, and I don't suppose the RAM. I've still got 4 gig of DDR3 there. If nothing else, I'll go in my, you know, I've got a bag of just different ones I use for testing, and because I've got a matching pair there, they'll probably end up in the bag. I'm not sure if I've got any matching ones here as such. Yeah, those two. What are them? They're a couple of 1 gigs. So yeah, probably keep them. You need to build up if you're doing this sort of work, you need to build up a collection of different sorts of RAM, different processors for different sockets. I'll do a video on it. I'll show you what I have, and most of what I have came off things like this. So I mean, the newer processors I have to buy online, but then I'll tell you the way I normally get the best price on them. Okay, so that's looking like a good one. What I'll do with this next, I'll attach an hard drive, install Windows, and then we'll just do a quick resume to this video, and I'll tell you what happens. Okay, guys. Okay, so I actually just grabbed the hard drive off Test Rig. You've seen Test Rig running before if you watch the videos. Test Rig, you've seen that machine. This is the board. So this hard drive's just got Windows 10 on. So rather than just doing an installation, I thought I'd just see if it runs. And yeah, you can see on the desk there, that's Windows 10 64-bit. The i3 540 is what the processor said it was, 3.06 gigahertz. So it's certainly loads of Windows. That's looking good. I've got this is something I use, STI. I've got 64-bit drivers on here. I use this to install drivers quite often. Snappy Driver Installer, it's called. It wants to access the internet, even though I haven't got any internet on this machine, but I'll tell it to do it. Yeah, I'll allow it. It's probably trying to update what you're doing here. Do you want to allow it to make changes? Yes, of course it can. Right, so this is a program I use. It's Snappy Driver Installer. It's well worth downloading this. It makes it much easier and quicker to install drivers. Although I have occasionally seen it actually cause a machine not to boot. when I've used this to put drivers on the machine. But anyway, I'll try to create a restore point. This is all the various chipsets and things on this board that it doesn't have drivers for, so we'll tick all them. Or I could just try and select all for that matter, and I'll just tell it to install. And this now should install all these drivers for us. And if it does this and the machine boots up, then this is a good one. I suspect you saw that heatsink, the heatsink compound was just like dry. That would have caused the processor to overheat, so it would be throttling, or it'd probably be crashing and blue screening, quite likely. So that's probably why somebody thought this was faulty. Although in fairness, the guy actually did tell me it works, and I have to agree with him. Although if you remember earlier when we first pulled it in, it didn't work. So this is just installing drivers for us. You have to download this from like a torrent or something. It's huge. It's like 20 gigabytes or something, but it's so worth having. Go and Google for it, STI Snappy Driver Installer, and see where you can download it from. They also, I've noticed, update this regularly. I've got this on a 16 gigabyte USB stick, and it's pretty much full. I can't get all the latest updates on, so I'm going to have to copy it onto a 32 gig and then go and get them, or use something like a USB external hard drive, you know. I think that's just loading the graphics drivers now. Let's see. Yeah, it's changed resolution for us. That's looking good. So we can say the onboard GPU is good. It's now doing the PCI. Then it'll do the audio, and then it should say it's all installed. I'm very confident this is going to be a good board, which is great. Whilst doing that, let's see what it was worth, shall we? So let's have a quick look. Screen. You'd like to do that a little bit. Okay. Go on to eBay. I think we already looked at the motherboard and thought it was 30 to 40 pounds. So let's have a quick look for the CPU. The CPU. Let's go to the motherboard. GA-H55M-S2V. Find that. That's what people are asking for them, and let's see what they've sold for recently. Sold. Okay, so we've got about 35 to 40 pounds for the motherboard, a little bit more. That's got a processor and 4 gig of RAM. That's very similar to what we have. In fact, it's the same processor we have. So yeah, that's one sold. So that's a very good indication of what it's worth. £50, about €60. Okay, so that was easy to see. Let's just come back and see if we've now we're still just installing. Okay, from €20 to €60, we can't complain at that, can we? And I've still got the case, which is probably not really of any use really. 80x power supply maybe isn't good, maybe that's why it didn't boot. I've got so many 80x power supplies, it's not of any great loss or value. There's a DVD ROM or something like that in there. Again, that's not really going to be worth anything these days. Okay, that's just saying it wants to reboot basically. No, it's just saying that the drivers are all up to date. And this is just saying click here to hide the installed drivers. All up to date. Okay, so that's now got all the drivers installed, all up to date. It's a good one. €20 becomes €60. Okay guys, let's go on to the next. See you soon. So here's the other motherboard we picked up at the car boot flea market on Sunday. I know I had this because the guy said it's just €5, take it, and I didn't even know what it was exactly. And it turns out it's an Asrock G31M-GS, and this is a LGA 775, so it's going to have a Celeron or a Core 2 or dual core or something like that on there, maybe a P4 775, but I haven't looked up the spec of this motherboard, so I don't know what it actually takes. I've just cleaned most of the dust off just before I started the video. It's got a Kingston RAM, same as the other one had. They look really, really dirty. You can see the pins on them. Quite corroded. They look dirty. This one's no better. Come on, when I get a new camera, it's going to be much better. This. Yeah, they're grubby. Dust in the sockets. This must be the one that was making the loud bleeping noise then when we first just powered it up to see what it was doing. I have to get a wet damp cloth and clean this thing shortly before I use it. Might do it before I go home tonight. So we got that processor. I'm getting well, there's a processor under there. Definitely a processor under there. Two rather. Oh, sorry, this camera's flashing again. I don't know what causes this. Put your hand in front of it and then stop. And still a postcard. Why does that do that? Yeah, I had a PCI network card. Oh no, Gigabit. Okay, Gigabit. Maybe that's what. I was wondering why is there a PCI card in here, considering it's got onboard LAN. That's a Gigabit one. Huh? Maybe useful for something. Stop it. Deep cool cooling fan. 500 gig hard drive. Probably worth €5 on its own, nice to be quite honest, regardless of what we do with this motherboard. So yeah, let's do the same with this one. This is VGA only. Let's leave the hard drive for a minute. Leave the RAM for a minute. Let's just power this up. I mean, without any RAM, this should like bleep to tell that there's no RAM. That's what you'd expect it to do. But before I start that continuous bleeping noise, I'm not quite sure what it was. So power in there, must be a 12 volt on it somewhere. Yeah, back here. There's 12 volts. Okay. 12 volt in there. This is a good candidate for going in the sink, to be honest. It's grubby. If it's working and it's worth selling, I'll put this one in the sink. The other one was quite clean. So yeah, let's leave the RAM out. Let's stick the post analyzer in. Let's have a power switch. Where are we? Power switch. I'll show you how to find where the power switch is if there's no markings and you can't find the user manual. When we come across that, I'll show you how to work it out. Speaker, power switch, no RAM. So we would expect this to just go, beep 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 or something of that ilk. Yeah. We're on my Asus power supply. Power on. Yeah, that's she's beeping to say there's no RAM. That's a good sign. I'm gonna clean these. Can you see how corroded these look? I'll clean them up, and if that don't give me any joy, I'm going to stick some more RAM in. I've got a whole selection of RAM here, which is something you need, by the way. If you're doing this sort of work again, you need a good selection of RAM. Let's find my favourite tool for cleaning these up, which is basically a pencil with a rubber on the end, with an eraser on the end. For those of you thinking rubber is something funny. Okay. This is a very good way to clean up the connections on a RAM. Yeah. much better. Just a little bit more. Okay, other side. I need a new pencil soon. Not much of this eraser left. Or maybe just buy myself a bigger razor. That's probably better next time I'm down. One of the Chinese shops. There are a lot of Chinese shops here that kind of like sell everything. It's like you've never seen these sort of shops in England. They're like hardware, homeware stores, and they kind of sell like everything, you know. And we have lots of them. And sometimes the stuff even works as well. But if you want to buy some insulations tape that isn't sticky, or a hammer that the head falls off the first time you use it, go down the Chinese shop, you'll get one. Zip ties that break, snap, that was quite a good one. As soon as you put them on. One of those neon, you know, those neon indicator screwdrivers that glow if you put them on something live, yeah? And it's like a screwdriver, it's got a neon light built in, and you touch anything live, it lights up. And on the packaging, it said 1, do not use a screwdriver. Well, why is it shaped like a bloody screwdriver? 2, the failure to light up the neon does not mean there isn't any mains presence. So basically, they sell it to you and then they tell you it's useless. Don't use it as a screwdriver and don't use it as an indication that there's power there or not. So, what's it for? Why? Why, I ask? Of course I bought it. And I've used it for both. Things that they tell you not to use it for. And actually it did work. It does work as both. These dims going a lot better if you got them the right way round. Okay. Stick some RAM in there, shall we? And then power on. Let's fire this up and see what it does. Well, it ain't making a continuous beeping noise anymore. Stopped with D4 on the analyzer card. Does that mean anything useful? Okay, it's not booted, but it ain't making a horrible noise it was making earlier. Let's see. Have I got anything on the screen? I doubt it. I expect to get one beep. I'll just choose VGA. See if it sees anything. No signal. Okay, so it doesn't boot. Still stuck on D4 on here. What's D4? Anything telling us anything useful? D4. Returning to real mode, executing any OEM patches and setting the stack next. That sounds like a problem with the RAM to me. I wonder if these are no good or not making contact. Let's try one first. Power back on. Actually, I didn't switch that off. I pulled that memory. I should have done. Now it don't want to boot up. Oh, I had turned this off. I turned this off on the back of the power supply. There we go. D5, 38, 38. Ah, yeah. Okay, that's booted. Do you hear the beep? Yeah, that's booting, and I've got a picture on the screen just telling me basically insert media. Yeah, as you'd expect. Okay, let's try the other one again. Let's just give this a bit of a wipe with a bit of isopropyl alcohol and a cloth. Let's just see. Maybe I've got a dirt in one of the slots here. That's quite common. Where can we find a bit of kitchen roll? There we go. was a good guess. That stack thing was telling me something was wrong with the RAM. Seems that was a good call. Those post analyzer cards, you have to take them with a pinch of salt, you know, and you have to sometimes think a bit like out of the box to understand what they're trying to tell you. But having said that, they're fantastic tools, wouldn't be without it. They don't let, yeah, I know people say, but they don't tell you exactly which component's faulty. No, they don't, but they give you a damn good idea if anything's happening, if it's stuck in a loop or things like that. Great, power on. Now it's saying no RAM. I've obviously got either a faulty DIMM, the second one, or a problem with this slot, yeah? Let's go get some DDR2. I have plenty of DDR2 in my stash. What we got here? Let's see if we find two the same. Oh, it's a couple of Kingstons here to start with. What we got here? 1 gig, 1 gig. Yeah, let's stick them. Let's stick them in. Let's see. They're actually the same as the they look basically the same as the ones that were already in there. Okay, let's give that a go. So this is my RAM. I'm not 100% sure all these DIMMs are good, but I don't think I've any faulty ones around. Power. Stuck on CO. Not booting. I think we've got a problem with the RAM slots on this one. Let's try that again with just one. Yeah, it's booting with the two. Sorry, with just the one fitting, it's booting, yeah? So let's take that RAM out of there. Let's stick this RAM in that slot. Okay. No. Doesn't want to boot with that one in there. Stopping with E0 this time. Not sure exactly what that's supposed to mean. So that RAM doesn't seem to like it. This RAM seems quite happy with. Right. Let's try just this RAM in the other slot, see if that is any sort of tells us anything. I mean, maybe an invalid mode combination. No, it's going to boot. Okay. So it looks like both RAM slots work. Just to make sure I get something on the screen. Yeah, she's booting. So looks like both RAM slots work. Looks like this RAM, which is one of mine, isn't any good. That's a good one. Let's try mine again. That stops on E0. Well, if that's a duff RAM, let's see what E0 actually says, so hopefully I'll remember this for the future if I see it again. E0, onboard floppy controller, it's saying. Oh, next, beginning the base 512 kilobyte memory test. Okay, that says there's a RAM problem. So that RAM don't seem to work. Let's try one of the ones that came with it. Let's try this one. That's good. That's beeped once. That should boot. Yeah, that's booting alright. Other slot. Yeah, 1 beep, I'm happy enough with that. Good one. This is the other one that came with it. That one's actually working now. And that's hot. And then that's hot. Yeah. So okay. It seems both of them are good. This is one of this is one of mine. It looks like this one isn't any good. No. Okay. Bin. So we should now. We know that if we put a single one in either slot, it works. Does it work with 2 in? We know they're both good. Let's see if that does. It's looking good. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So we've solved the problem with this. That can go into my little stash. The other one's in the bin. This hard drive should boot because I mean this came with it. It was in the machine, so this should actually boot up. Looks like this problem with this was just dirty RAM slots, or I was going to say faulty RAM, but in the end, both of the sticks of RAM that came with it worked, but initially they didn't. Yeah, they were hanging it up; it wouldn't boot. So I suspect that's why this was down at the car boot sale. He didn't know the condition of this. He didn't know if it was working or not. He didn't, you know. He just had €5 taken away. Okay, so let's have an hard drive. Let's find a SATA connector for that. Yeah. Turn it the way up, easier. This weird, but they're sticking out, so it was making it difficult to light flat the other way. So we'll have a keyboard as well. We're going to boot it up. Let's stick a keyboard on this. I tend to use a PS2 keyboard if there's PS2 connectors, because sometimes like the USBs don't initialize and you can't, you know, yeah, you can get them to work. Sometimes I put the drivers, but I find that a PS2 keyboard always works. Yeah. Same with the PS2 mouse. So I have a PS2 mouse here as well, but this is actually a USB mouse. So I often plug that in there, the PS2 one, if there's a socket. And to be honest, most boards have a socket apart from the most recent ones. Okay, that's ready to go. I'll drive on, keyboard on, power on, boot. Let's see what it does, eh? Let's have a look. Oh, it's got a signal. Boot. F1, okay, F1. Free BSD. This is not wins. Is this something else? 2. What operating system's on this? Come on, so we talk about free BSD is. What is free BSD? Some sort of Linux or something. I wonder if this was used as a server. Free BSD. Power modern servers, desktops, download. Some sort of Linux. Some weird operating system. Looks like this thing was used as a web server I wonder if that's why I had the Gigabit LAN connector on. That makes sense, doesn't it? That makes sense. I bet you have to type a password in or something. Oh, no. No, I don't want to exit. Don't want to exit. Okay, so root. I don't know. No root. Host. I have no idea how to use this OS, but I think we can say it's almost certainly working, this thing. Okay, I think same as the other one with this. We'll take the CPU fan off, have a quick look to see how the heatsink compound's looking on it. And if it's looking okay, then we'll. I might just install Windows on this actually. I wonder if there's anything interesting on that. I wonder what's on that hard drive. Lots of bitcoins. Who knows? That'd be something, wouldn't it? Want to come off? That was stiff. I don't even want to move. Bloody hell, this doesn't want to come off easily. That does not want to give it up easily. I mean, normally these things are easy to get off. So stiff. That's gone. Two hands like to do it, you know. And this one's going to be a bitch because of that thing in the way. This is going to need a screwdriver in here. Have I got a flat blade that's big enough? Christ almighty. That didn't want to give that up easily. Okay. I've beaten it. Richie 1, heatsink nil. Maybe. Speak too soon. Christ almighty. This is not wanting to come off as easily. Just push the thing in from the other side. Yeah, it's going. It's going well. I think it's going. We've got CPUs on this. If we use a server, I wonder what we've got under here. I'm interested now. Hell, that does not want to come off there. That does not want to come off that. Can't believe that's stuck on so tight. Let's just disconnect some cables from it. Let's see if we can actually get at it. Take all this off here. Take that off there. Right. Let's have a bit of room. Look, I've got on my desk all messy again. And you know I hate that. This is... I've never had a problem getting one of these off before. Heavens. Well, they've unglued it to the CPU. Really? 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 You're not going to come off? I bet you're laughing your socks off here. Why can't I get a CPU cooler off this? Well, all the pins have pulled back through, so that's not a problem. That's not a problem. These not holding it on. Yet it's stuck to the CPU. Camera's on nuts again, sorry. How the hell have you got that stuck on there like that? Ah, okay. Final bit of persuasion. It was stuck. It was stuck to the CPU. It was well stuck to that CPU. completely dry again. Okay, I mean it's not overheated because I wasn't really stressing it any, but that's another good reason why this one wasn't working, I'm guessing. Where's my paintbrush? I need to clean this off here. This is why I don't like my desk being in a mess, because once it's in a mess you can't find anything. So all this crap off here. This is going to be something played in an order now. It's going to be something interesting like a Xeon of some sort or other. Are there any rare ones that are worth money? I bet there are, you know, I bet this probably isn't one. Okay, let's see what we have here. Again, this is completely dried. Doesn't even want to come off. Bit of ISO on that. Bit of isopropyl on that one, eh? Of course, could have just read windows and then seen what it was. What do you reckon, guys? What do you reckon? Have we got anything worthwhile here or not? Nah, it's a Core 2 Duo. It's a Core 2 Duo, it's not. This is one of them 3 GHz plus ones. Right, what are we at here? Nah, it's played in ordinary. There's a cockroach, you find them everywhere. It's a Core 2 Duo, 2.4 GHz. Yeah. That was amazing how that heatsink compound had glued that on there. Okay then, so same with this one. I think we'll just whack the other hard drive on, see if it'll boot Windows 10, and then if it does, we've got a good one. I'll report back on this one. See you soon. So here's the socket 777 Asrock board. I've put some new heatsink compound on the CPU, fitted the fan. I've put the hard drive on off test rig and booted, and we're now in Windows, so that's good. I did the same thing as previously, so I used the SDI snappy driver installer, installed the chipset drivers, and everything's looking good. Changed the screen resolution for me, was happy with that. So I think this is another working one, which is very nice. I've connected the other hard drive. The other hard drive, the 500 gig that came with this, that had like BSD on or something, which I thought was like blue screen of death, but it's probably an operating system. A free blue screen of death, even free BSD. So anyway, I've put that hard drive on here, but I'm not seeing it. But it booted off. What if I'd known how to learn the operating system? It booted off that drive. This is the snappy driver installer. That's my USB. Which is actually 32 gig. There's only 8 gig free off 32, so you can see how big that is. That's my C drive. So where's the other drive? I suspect it's probably working because it did sort of boot off it, but more likely it's just some sort of the format of the drive is in some sort of form that Windows doesn't recognise. So this is Mini Tool partition maker, which I use. Yeah, now it's got it. That's my 250 gig hard drive. Notice I'm not using an SSD on this, but it's just a test rig. It doesn't matter, you know. Yeah, computers I build, I use SSDs. That's the USB, and this is the other one. And it says it's formatted as other, like it's something Windows doesn't recognise. So I think what we'll do is with that, we'll just we'll wipe the partition. No, we won't wipe the partition. We'll delete the partition. It's now unallocated. We'll now create a partition. NTFS, letter E. Yeah, we've now got a drive. I was wondering if there's anything on there, but I really can't be bothered. Don't know how to boot it. I mean, anyway, it's private, you know. Whatever was on there, I doubt it was full of bitcoins. No, I'll never know. Okay, so that drive's now there. To test it, you need to do a full surface scan. And I'll probably end up using that just on one of the workshop PCs, because I'm not filling these things, well, obviously these YouTube videos. But that's useful bit of storage, 500 gig on a workshop machine for you know, circuit diagrams and stuff, and even these YouTube videos. Okay, so we now have. No, we still don't have that drive. How strange. Let's try restarting the PC. I thought that would see that drive now. I mean, it tells me it's there and it's an E drive. Maybe Windows needs to just pick that up. Whilst just reloading, let's have a quick look to see if we can make any money out of this one. So what do we have? eBay again. Did you just see it bleep? That was the computer rebooting. eBay. So we have a G31M-GS. See if anybody's selling these as bundles. That's the motherboard. Well, somebody's selling one there with a CPU and RAM, asking 35 or best offer. Somebody's got one new, that's parts only, that's pre-owned. Let's see if anybody's sold them. This is probably the best way to see if they have any value. Bear in mind this whole PC cost me €5. Yeah, that went with a Celeron and 2 gig for 40 quid. That one went with a Core 2 quad and 4 gig for 25. And mine's a Core 2 Duo 2.4 gig with 2 gig. So yeah, another one here went for 27, but only with 512 meg. This guy was obviously a bit lucky, got a bit of money for that. It's got the IO shield. I've got the IO shield. That one doesn't have. So I think it's like one of these. It's worth like 20 to 30, between 20 and 40, somewhere in that region. Yeah. Maybe 25, 27, 50. That's quite a reasonable price for this with what's with it. Okay, so yeah, that's 20. That's 15 to 20 euros profit for not very much work. Right, let's just go back to the desktop on the machine that we've just sort of repaired. Right, okay, so it's booting back up now. The thing's like whirling around. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, oh, they've stopped whirling now. I thought maybe it was something stopping it booting, maybe that hard drive. Still don't see that hard drive. Isn't that strange? There's no hard drive. Oh, is it because it's not formatted? That would make sense, wouldn't it? Finish the job of this, you know. So that one, other. Oh, formatted. Oh, I don't know, label E. I should have probably told it to do a quick format. See if it will format that drive. Oh, press apply. We learn how to use the software. Okay, so it says it's done. It tells us now NTFS, so that was good. Quit the program, yeah. Refresh this. and we still don't have a hard drive. You guys are probably laughing at me now. This is, I told you, I'm an hardware engineer. I'm not a software guy. Yeah. It says it's there. I mean, without doubt, it's there. We can get rid of the USB. We don't need the USB anymore. That can go. Refresh. No. Windows don't see that drive, but this does. Properties, that tells us something. Oh, we can do a surface test. Oh, let's just start a surface test, see if that actually... Yeah, the drive's there. It's telling us over 1 hour, but it's still doing a surface test. I would normally do this with a drive like, you know, like this, where it's come off a machine. Before I use this, I will run a full surface test, but we're not going to do it on this video. Yeah, we'll stop the surface test. Okay, no errors found so far. Exit, yeah. Once again, we'll just format it. Format. Something else. Test. Cluster size, do body, bar. Okay. Apply. Yeah. Formatted. Is it there now? No. Restart again. Otherwise, I'm going to have to ask how it can be there but not be there. I can only assume it's something to do with the way the drive's formatted, but it says it's NTFS. Once more. This is why we don't usually run Windows 10 on 775 Core 2 Duos and such like. It works eventually. Wonder where that is. Could be Portugal. Oh, it's gone now. Could be the Algarve. Don't know. Okay. Obviously, this is still loading. Ah, now we have it. Okay, so that's all it really needed. Just needed to be restarted. Just copy some folders just to be sure it's working. Obviously you can see this is still loading, that's why it's running slow. Copy. Yeah. That appears to be quite functional. Okay, so I'd say we've also got a good 500 gig SATA, which can't be worth much, but it must be worth a few pounds, but that's not for sale anyway. I'll keep that. That'll be useful in the workshop. Okay guys, that's the end of that then. So hope you enjoyed, even though they weren't big repairs, but it's proved, look, we're making some money. That was the whole idea. Yeah, we fixed a few simple faults, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.